Welcome. Hi, I'm Caitlin Pizzuto, and welcome back to Between the Pages. Today, I'm here with author
Ricardo Nazaire.
Welcome, Ricardo, to the show.
Thank you.
Ricardo, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your book, Fighter's Fever?
I sure can, but thank you, first off, for having me, the crew, especially the cameramen, for actually capturing this moment. About myself, Ricardo Nazaire. I like long walks on the beach, but most importantly, I actually like writing stories. I grew up here, born and raised in New Jersey, Elizabeth, Linden, Old Bridge. I did go to a Catholic school, which was a bit restrictive in the sense that you would have to pray every day, go to church, drink wine on Sundays, or go to hell. So a nice little escape from things were mediums. Like, grew up watching wrestling. At the time, it was WWF, WCW. I would play video games, RPGs, role-playing games, or fighting games like the Street Fighter series or Legend of Zelda. And also I would follow the Batmans, the Spider-Man, X-Men, Dragon Ball Z, things like that. So those are some early influences on why I wanted to do this.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit about Fighter's Fever?
So Fighter's Fever is basically, it's an action adventure with some fantasy, sci-fi elements, some thriller, things like that. It's basically follows a story by a character named Kenneth. I hate him so much. I'll get into that later. Basically, his adventure with what's going on in the world, his reaction to that, meeting characters along the way, much like an RPG would have. So you get to see that in real time through Kenneth.
Thank you. And we actually have a clip
from
Fighter's Fever, and we'll play it right now. Do you want to intro to it a little bit?
Yes, so this clip, it's going to be in the second act of the story. It's going to be Kenneth, he's the main character. He's going to be confronted by one of the agents in the series, James Fallon. You get to see how both characters kind of clash it out. So you see a bit of that in this clip right here.
Perfect, thank you. And let's get into the clip.
Memories of his time at the training academy and his journey to the Sage came flooding in as Kenneth moved forward until he noticed an uneasy fog covering the surrounding area. The further he progressed, the more difficult it was for him to see ahead. It was around that time he heard a voice calling out to him. "It's funny who you randomly run into these days," a mysterious voice states. "I would complain about the rain, but it's my fault for not bringing an umbrella." That voice, Kenneth thought to himself, "You're Agent Fallon, James Fallon." "It's been quite a while, kid. What's new?" Agent Fallon says as he slowly emerges from the fog. "Can't complain. Is there something I can help you with, Agent?" "Help me? Maybe the news is slow to come out around here, but things have really gone to hell lately. If anything, I came all the way out here to help you, young man," Agent Fallon sarcastically replies. "If you're talking about what happened at the training academy, thanks for your concern. But as you can see, I'm doing just fine. I'll ask again a bit clearer. What do you want?" Kenneth asked stern.
Hi, and welcome back. Here with Ricardo again. So what inspired you to write the book, especially during COVID? How was that process?
I think COVID, the pandemic itself, was right place, right time, which is horrible to say out loud, but basically it's one of the few chances I had time to actually work on the book and actually the means to do it. So during COVID, I'm not sure if you remember, but a lot of things were shut down, and it was great in the beginning. I got to binge watch a lot of things. I'd rewatch shows I like Dexter and other things like that, or new shows like The Office, Mr. Robot, Twin Peaks. But at some point, namely when I saw the Twilight movies again, I hate watched them. I thought they were bad. I still think they're bad, but I thought to myself, if it's so bad, why can't you make something better? So that was one of the inspirations during the pandemic. At the time, I was living in Virginia Beach, and what should have been a 5.5-hour drive, I didn't afford to come back to New Jersey to get back to my roots to actually write again. Initially, I wasn't going to write Fighter's Fever. I wanted to do an autobiography just to reflect on life. It was going to be, you know the phrase, tall, dark, and handsome? Mm-hmm. I need to trademark this, don't steal it. It's going to be called Tall, Dark, and Humble. That was the goal. That was taking forever to write, so I told myself, well, why not try this whole Fighter's Fever thing again? At the time, I did have a lot of chapters to work with because I was just writing it over the years, and I thought to myself, instead of getting rid of all the chapters, like that's like throwing out a bunch of trash in the middle of the ocean. Who does that? Why not recycle some of it? So I did retain some things from the original version, but I definitely started from scratch during the pandemic.
I feel like it's so interesting and kind of inspiring during the time of COVID where there was so much bad happening to see something so good and something so loved come from that time. So I know you served in the military. Did your service in the military have any influence in you writing the book?
Well, serve sounds like jail, which kind of was at the time, but I will get into it. I need the good stuff for this. So, how are you doing? Lovely. So I'm part of the Navy. It's going to be 14 years this July. Wow. I'll start off by saying Navy is the best branch. You could look it up because of people that have been in it. You've got JFK, served Jimmy Carter, myself, so that's a pretty good list right there. But even if you run down the rest of the branches, we're still the best. For example, Army. They're good. Number 2 is a good spot. That's silver, right? We cover more of the world itself, the beautiful world that we live in. Who got rid of the guy that called 9/11? You're welcome, right? Plus, they have a terrible football team. And I'm from New Jersey. We don't even have a football team. Air Force, Chair Force next. I'm not even going to address them. They have it too good. And Marines, they do work hard. They like their red crayons, but they know who Daddy is. So Navy is the best branch. Definitely a big influence for me.
Thank you for that beautiful breakdown. So I need to know, I know you served in many different places. Can you tell us your favorite place that you visited?
On paper, I have to say the United States. But countries-wise, been to the U.S., spoiler alert, but different parts of the country. So I've driven across the north part of America, so New Jersey to Washington State. I was stationed in Virginia Beach specifically. Hawaii was actually my first duty station, so I kind of hit the jackpot early on and kind of went downhill from there. Mm-hmm. But as far as other countries, I'm probably going to forget some, but U.S., like I mentioned, Iceland, Ireland, parts of Africa, Sicily, Italy, El Salvador, Philippines, Japan come to mind.
You must have a very impressive passport. We will be right back with Ricardo Nazaire after this break.
Achieving my goals as an adult was challenging without a high school diploma. With the help of an adult education center, I finished my high school diploma and it changed my life.
This yearbook is a testament to your accomplishments and how they have impacted all of us.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
And you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Done it.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Hi, and welcome back to Between the Pages. Once again, I'm your host, Caitlin Pizzuto, and I'm here with Ricardo Nazaire. Reflecting on your time serving, is there any connection between your own experiences and Kenneth's journey?
Time served still sounds like jail, but I will say, as someone that's in the Navy, my title is a personnel specialist. It's as exciting as it sounds. It's basically HR meets accounting, so just throughout my almost 14 years, I do interact with a lot of people. So seeing different people, seeing different personalities definitely had an impact on Kenneth, among other characters. In addition to being a PS, a personnel specialist, I'm also, or have also been a volunteer coordinator. So we'd go out in town, whether stateside or deployed, we'd get to see other people, interact with even more people. And also I've been a PAO, that's a public affairs officer. So taking photos of different award ceremonies and different promotions, different things out in town, writing articles. I got to see different stories, and some of my favorite stories I was able to kind of honor through my story, through Fighter's Fever. So you see a bit of my own experiences within Fighter's Fever.
Really interesting. So is the character of Kenneth inspired by someone specific, or is he more of a creation of your own imagination?
Kenneth, yeah, he's based off me. We have the same haircut. No, I would say Kenneth, more than anything else, if you were to look at the Street Fighter series, which I grew up on, Street Fighter II specifically, Kenneth is based off Ken. He's a character in the series, and also Link from The Legend of Zelda. So those are the two like main inspirations. But I would say, whether I want to admit it or not, Kenneth is probably like who I was when I was 17, just young, dumb, I'm not going to say the rest, but also pretty stubborn in some sense, pretty naive, but a lot of growth, a lot of good intentions, but kind of goes about it the wrong way.
And I know you mentioned earlier in the segment that Kenneth is actually not your favorite character.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, I'll make it official. I know it's taboo to say he's not my favorite character, but there's a couple of reasons why. For one, his face. Two, it's kind of tough to give other characters justice when you want to think, how does this affect Kenneth's journey? How does this affect his character development? So it's tougher on that side of it. And also, like I said, I guess the whole psychological part of this is a lot like how I was when I was that age. So there's a lot of hate for him. I tried to kill him off in the first chapter. The book was only about 7 pages long, so I had to go back, unfortunately, but he's still around.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe who your favorite character is?
My favorite character, it's funny, he's actually the opposite of Kenneth. It's an agent named James Fallon, who's named after, I played a game called Smash Brothers Melee growing up. I was really good with Cheek. James Fallon, he's the antagonist. He's on the other end of it. So Kenneth is a 17-year-old. He's figuring himself out in the story. James is part of the Lantic Empire. That's like the military government group. He's a younger person there. He's trying to prove himself. So his ambition really reflects Kenneth's ambition. So I have a lot of fun with him. He's a fun. I figure stories are only as good as the villains are, and I had a lot of fun with James.
Well, me and the fans are very happy that you did not kill Kenneth off in the first chapter. This novel would have been a short story. But when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the unexpected challenges Ricardo faced while writing the book. And we will see you right after this short break.
Achieving my goals as an adult was challenging without a high school diploma. With the help of an adult education center, I finished my high school diploma and it changed my life.
This yearbook is a testament to your accomplishments and how they have impacted all of us.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laughs, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/team-up.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this? I'm more
than who I am as Descartes.
Welcome back. I'm here with Ricardo Nazir, author of Fighter's Fever. Ricardo, can you tell us about your approach to independent writing and maybe offer any advice for aspiring writers who wish to pursue this path on their own?
When it comes to writing or just a creative endeavor in general, definitely stay focused, set yourself up for success. I know a lot of times people think that there's things like writer's block and things stopping you, but if you prepare well enough, if you approach it the right way, you really can't fail. For example, during the pandemic, or prior to, I should say, I was normally getting used to waking up 4 or 4:30 in the morning just for work. So one day I told myself, if you're willing to do that for a job to pay the bills, why not for something that you're passionate about? So you can treat it like a job or career just to keep a nice routine going. Being prepared definitely helps out too. I know being in Virginia, I was exposed to comedy a lot. There was a place called the Funny Bone there. Got some experience with stand-up, improv, so knowing to actually work on your material, or even like something like this, having a rundown, having an actual plan of action works. If you're familiar with George Carlin, he's like the godfather of comedy, like a philosopher. He said to basically write everything down. So I got this nice book from Target before it was canceled, just to write down any idea, good, bad, anything in between. And then from there, just revisit them. Revisit your material, having a plan, making sure the stage is set to actually write. So I would recommend as little distractions as you can. put your phone, like for example, I think at the time I had an iPhone like 2.5, put that on silent, put that on airplane mode, having the right music to write to. So I'd write to, say, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, or game soundtracks. I would make sure I'm not listening to words. As much as I like Project Pat, you can't be hearing about North Memphis while writing. It doesn't make any sense. So if you set yourself up right, you can't fail, I think.
And I love that you brought up your writing in your book to start, because I feel like for a lot of young people it can be kind of discouraging and scary to start writing. So I think that was such a beautiful start to your journey.
Yeah, I mean, one, it's a diary, but two, I would say you find yourself on the phone, whether it's text, emails, whatever, all the time. I think you retain a lot. I know you retain a lot more when you actually write things down. So I encourage you, even if you're not into writing per se, writing things down definitely helps out a lot.
And I just want to kind of go back to, because you talked a lot about your inspiration from COVID. Can you talk a little about your experience with 9/11 and how that impacted your book?
9/11, you must be a lot of fun at parties. But yes, 9/11 was a big influence in it, because I was younger when the events happened. And I did live in Elizabeth at the time, so we were close enough to New York City when the actual events happened. And we didn't take things too seriously. We knew something happened in the city, something happened in Philadelphia, but something that I remember specifically was the Pentagon was actually attacked. And I was younger, and at the time I thought, well, if the Pentagon's attacked and New York's attacked, it's all going to be over, jokingly. But that was definitely a huge inspiration for Kenneth's character. The only difference is, instead of someone like my birthday twin claiming the attacks on 9/11, no one knows where it's coming from. You have a major figure that was killed in an attack, major cities attacked, but the only difference with 9/11 is, in my story I should say, we don't know where it's coming from. So that was a big kind of foundation for what I was writing about.
Wow, that's inspiring. So what was the self-publishing process like for you? And how did you navigate the challenge of securing commissions?
I would say there's 3 phases if you want to break it down. The first would be the production phase, where I was actually writing, typing, post-production, the formatting, and actually getting things ready to be released, and of course the release phase. So the writing phase itself, I would say that was the toughest, because it's a matter of sitting down, having the discipline to actually write out everything. But fortunately, like I mentioned before, I had things to draw from. I had photos I've taken before, experiences being around the country to draw from. And at the time, the story itself, to write or type, took 3 months. During the pandemic, I got the stimmy checks. I was locked in 3 months. And that was thanks majorly because I had someone I was working with back in Virginia Beach, Savannah. I love her to death because she was working on her own projects, but she was giving me constructive criticism as I was going along. Because even though I thought I had everything figured out, I had a bit of tunnel vision, having another creative person to bounce ideas off is good. I would say too, to anyone, I'm not sure if you want to write as well, don't be too critical of other people's opinions, because sometimes they don't really amount to much. Like, for example, if you were to tell me, I don't like the book because I don't like the book, I don't like Kenneth's face, I'd agree on that because I don't like Kenneth's face either. But you can just check your phone, check your bank account, cool, I'm still in double digits. It's not changing anything. So just focus on the actual portion, on the writing side. Post-production was a bit different because I had to expand a bit. The book was ready to be released, but it wasn't where it should have been. So the first thing you'd have to do is actually register your book to your name. You have to submit your manuscript. You get what's called an ISBN. So that basically has the barcode for your book. I had to get 2 because it was going to be a paperback as well as a Kindle. So it's good to actually get that done. I did have a bit of a wall with some of my first set of editors because they suggested off jump there should be a love triangle. They cited The Hunger Games, which is not a bad series, and also Twilight. Hunger Games, my character is stale bread. I'm not doing that. Twilight, it triggers me because I think I mentioned before I hate watched it. Team Edward, by the way.
Team
but
Jacob.
yeah, we're gonna disagree on that. But definitely standing your ground with your work, knowing that your name is a reflection of you. So if my name is going to be on this book, I wanted to have the certain vision. Going with that, that was kind of one of the bigger hurdles I had to deal with. And then when it came time to release, I can tell you now, I don't think I've ever said this out loud, the way Fighters Fever was born was kind of an accident, like me probably, in that I didn't know it would come out the way it was supposed to. So my birthday is March 10th, and the goal was to release it March 1st, hopefully to get a couple pity buys and stuff like that. So I announced it, and I went on Amazon, who I released the book through, and they have good analytics and stuff. At the time, I thought, hey, if I do a pre-release, maybe some people will buy it. That was in February. Then I got email notifications of people saying, hey, the book's on the way. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll see you in March. They're like, no, it's coming here in 2 days. And yeah, it was a bit of a crisis, a bit of a meltdown in mascara lines. It was really rough. But then when I got my first review from a friend of my brother's, Lauren, I think her name is, she said she loved it. She picked the book up. She was hard to put down. And I think that was probably the first time in my adult life that I actually blushed, which I didn't think was possible physically or illegal. But getting that high, getting that reaction from someone that didn't know me, that kicked things off. That was definitely, it was well worth it then.
Wow. And did you always know that you wanted to write a book, or is this something that came on later in life? I know you talked about inspiration during COVID. Was this something where you were bored in your house and you were like, let me write a book?
Yeah, Tall, Dark, and Humble. I would say going back to growing up, games weren't the same as they were now. They're like 4K, they're like movies now, but I think the first game I actually played was legit the first Legend of Zelda on the NES. The first game I actually beat was Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, so graphics weren't the best back then, so we had to use our imagination to kind of fill those gaps. So that's what I did a lot. I kind of saw things in life, hey, how can I make this better? That was the bug. And I think, as terrible as it sounds, COVID was, the pandemic, I should say, was the perfect time, perfect place to actually get it done.
Wow. And me and the fans want to know very much, is there any hope for a possible movie adaptation? I know that there has been talk about a graphic novel maybe in the works.
Well, I'll say to you and both my other fans, let's break it down like this. If you look at a lot of major movies and shows, just in general, whether it's IMDb or just pop culture, they're based off books. If you look at Shawshank Redemption, The Godfather, Dark Knight Trilogy, all of them are based in some sort of printed media. And I think naturally, as much as I like this, I'm going to reach for my book, shameless plug. As much as I like this, as always my baby, the next natural step will be a graphic novel. I'm already in the works with getting that done. It's a bit different as far as the medium, as far as how the story is expressed, but that's what I'm looking to do. I will say if a movie is made, I just have one request. Don't let, what's his name, Timothy Chalamet?
Timothy Chalamet, yes.
Yeah, the God. Don't let him play Kenneth. Like, I'd really kill him off. It's just, he's everywhere, man. He's like the new Scarlett Johansson. It's like, come on, let's mix it up a bit.
Paramount, if you hear that, do not cast Timothy Chalamet.
Don't do it.
And we need to know, will there be more to Kenneth's story? Maybe, I know you talked about...
Killing him off?
No. You talked about the Godfather trilogy. Will there be a trilogy for Fighter's Fever?
Well, I promise you this, there won't be a Godfather 3 in that sense, but I already have a trilogy in mind. I have other parts of the story in mind, and I was ready gung-ho to actually do more as far as the second book, but I told myself, get some more feedback, get some more life experience before you do the next level. So went back to school, took advantage of certain courses. I'm like, if you're going to take a psychology class, see how people think. Take a sociology class, see how people interact. Incorporate that in your story. Take a film, TV production class. See how different aspects of this can apply to your story. So there will be more. It's just a matter of getting it done.
Thank you. And what an inspiration you are for every young person. Thank you, Ricardo, for joining us. Can you tell us where we can find your book?
Yes, so the best way is to find me on Instagram. I'm not too hip with these other apps like the Tik Chats and the Snap Talks and stuff with my iPhone 1, but I would say Instagram, Mission Nazare, that's MRNAZARE. From there, you'll find a link to my Amazon. You'll find either the paperback version, or if you prefer Kindle, it's going to be there.
Thank you. That was Ricardo Nazare, everyone, with his book, Fighter's Fever. I'm your host, Caitlin Pizzuto, and we hope to see you back next week.